Welcome to week 2 of our 3-week presentation on feminist finance. As students, this is a great time for you to consider your relationship with money, not only today, but how you will use that relationship to build your tomorrows. This is likely to be a very different conversation about financial literacy and money management than we've ever had. But regardless of where you are starting, these conversations will give you the tools to take control of your financial future and step into your unique role as a financial feminist. Though it's not a new concept, financial feminism is relatively new to money management and financial literacy education. In order to make lasting systemic change, it's necessary to identify what the starting point is. And when it comes to financial literacy and gender, although we've come a long way historically, we still have a long way to go. So our starting point is really changing some conversations. Financial feminism at its core is advocacy work. This is a conversation that includes paving the way for our own success and reaching back to make sure that others have access to follow their success and opportunity desires. Financial feminism is equality work. It is recognizing that the social, cultural, and political narratives have resulted in a continued financial inequality between the genders. It is intended to bridge the gap between where we are and where we really need to be when it comes to financial access for everyone. Financial feminism is empowerment work. Money is globally the primary means of exchanging goods and services. Money holds the decision-making power that determines how we spend, how we earn, how we work, and how we invest in our futures. Financial feminism is about empowering you to be the decision maker in your world. It is empowering your money to serve you and your vision of the future. The definition of financial feminism really does have all of those components. It is rooted in that advocacy work, but advocacy work that aims for equality. It is intended to create systemic change and to empower women to invest in the futures they want to build. For a long time, money has been considered a socially taboo subject to talk about openly and honestly with our family and friends, especially on college campuses and in corporations. Fear of judgment or criticism keeps many people from seeking help, especially when they need it most. Many corporations have policies of silence around talking about your salary and benefits with your peers and mentors. A financial feminist perspective encourages a reversal of this social narrative. Instead, one of the greatest ways to empower our money is to actually talk about our money and normalize the conversations around pay inequality, opportunity inequality, limiting mindsets, and money scripts. It might be easy to discredit the value of sharing and speaking about the money mindsets and scripts that have informed our money relationships. Talking about our money stories, our fears, and our experiences may not erase the inequality, but opening up the conversations can start the process of breaking down the inequalities in marginalized populations. The power of sharing our stories, our fears, and experiences is claimed as we gain new perspectives and find new ways to solve old problems. Every story shared has tremendous power to reduce the stigma around money past, money present, and money future. Although we should always seek advice from trusted sources, it is important that we open up the conversations in our circle of influence. Great solutions are often found when a few people start talking about a shared problem. I love this quote from Toni Morrison. If you are free, you need to free somebody else. If you have some power, then it is your job to empower somebody else. I think this is the power behind financial feminism. Whether we teach in our homes, in our communities, or in formal settings, women successfully create environments that create greater gender equality. Women taught classes promote greater inclusivity and promote positive role models for their students. Successful financial empowerment begins by raising women's empowerment to lead, teach, guide, and inspire in career and community success for everyone. I also love this quote. I think women are very powerful, and I think we are more powerful when we stick together. Financial feminism is about speaking up in your families, in your communities, and at work. It's about spending money and resources on the companies and initiatives that promote and value similar values to yours. It is changing the way we talk about our relationship with money and the opportunities that we do or do not have. It's about changing the way we plan and prepare to empower our futures. One of my favorite stories of speaking up comes from Cheryl Sandberg and her early days at working at Google. She was pregnant with her first child and a little frustrated that she had to walk the length of the parking lot in heels on her way to an executive meeting. She got called out when she arrived at the meeting a little bit late and frazzled, and she used her powerful voice to explain to her male peers that walking in the California heat across the parking lot while pregnant was a problem that they had not considered when they had designed the parking lots. Not only did Google implement a policy change for their parking structure to consider the pregnancy of their women employees, but it influenced many of the big tech companies in Silicon Valley to do the same. I think it might be fair to say that self-care is not necessarily the first word that comes to mind when we think of money management, budgeting, and bill paying. But a little bit of a reframe can help illustrate why taking the time to learn about your money and your relationship with money is one of the best things you can do for your overall wellness. Remember, money is the way we exchange goods and services. Money is how we work and why we work. Money concerns are one of the #1 stressors on college campuses and in corporate America. We worry about money. But if we know about money, then we have the empowerment to control our money and be less stressed. If you participated in the Money Scripts presentation from last week, you might have realized how heavy the social and cultural narratives are when it comes to our money beliefs and habits. Ignorancy bias is the tendency to hide from the information or experiences that breed guilt and shame. Depending on our relationship with money, guilt and shame can lead to a failure to look at our bank statements, to balance our spending, and to prepare a spending plan. Starting where we are includes the honest assessment of your starting point, but also freeing yourself from the guilt and shame that often keeps us stuck in our old patterns. Hope is a component of goals, choice, and pathways. To claim hope, we must forgive the past and make decisions that will move us forward to the futures that we desire. When we apply a feminist perspective to our financial education and practices, we empower ourselves with the choice that allows hope to guide our decisions. As the second step of financial feminism, it's important to take control of the future by being intentional with the choices that we make today. I love this question that has been presented in many workshops that I have attended. What would you begin if money were not an issue? Empowered decision-making is about picking what matters most to you, planning to make it happen, so believing it's a possibility, and then putting a plan into action. Seeds planted today become your harvest of tomorrow, but try, if you can, to not limit those seeds by your perceived belief in what kind of money will be available to you. One of my favorite financial New Year's resolutions ever was one that I made a couple of years ago to stop impulse shopping. So it didn't actually cost me anything and probably saved me a lot of money. But what I really wanted was to be more intentional with my money spending. So I started to pick what mattered. And one of the things that mattered was that I spent wisely. I made a plan to spend more wisely by avoiding impulse shopping. And then I put that plan into action as a New Year's resolution with a weekly checkup on what I had been purchasing and what stores I had gone to that week. You are now empowered to empower your relationship with money. This is an activity that I have had so much fun doing. I have to admit, I've done it multiple times. But write a love letter to money. If you and money had the relationship that you really desire, what would the two of you do together? What kinds of things would you buy? What kind of changes would you make? Where would you go? And whose life would you influence? Like I said, I have had so much fun with this activity, and I hope that you will share some of the things that you would do with money on social media. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you next week.